Welcome back. It is still iBrand Daybreak Show. When you talk about development, you talk about urban regeneration, you would know that it's a no-brainer that culture and creativity play a huge role in that aspect for many cities. Some governments are also providing more intentional and pragmatic policies that will help boost the creative sector. And right here in Southwest Nigeria, Ibadan is a force to reckon with when it comes to entertainment. And with myriads of events happening on a daily basis, the Asian city is, surely becoming a hub of emerging creatives. And let's talk about, the creative industry in Ibadan. Joining us to have that conversation is the entertainment and should I call it, head of enjoyment and management of happiness matters in Oyo State, Ibadan. I'm talking about none other than Damola Layade. Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing okay. Let's talk about entertainment and, the hub of things and how they happen here. When you hear Ibadan, mostly in the entertainment sector, what comes to mind is comedy. We see a lot of, comic acts coming up, both from stand-up comedy and making skits and creating making comedy movies, but we don't get that same energy when it comes to music, people making music in Oyo and Ibadan. Why do you think that is? A lot of times musicians come up, many times actually, but then before you know it, they migrate to Lagos and to these other buzzing cities. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think the music part of it, if we're being specific, is just the Afrobeats part, really, because Fuji tribes in Oyo State, for instance, Juju, live music tribes in Oyo State. But yes, you're right. I mean, we've had a lot of very good Afrobeat artists come out of Oyo State. We had it in the late 90s, early 2000s. We had Maintain, we had Twin X, we had all those guys come out of Oyo State. Then they moved to like Sasha, grew up in Oyo State. But it appears that Lagos is where all the money is, right? So Oyo State population of about between 5 to 7 million. We have a huge population, but we have not really harnessed that potential to make Afrobeat profitable. But there's no problem. We can create an enabling environment to make these guys thrive and also make money in Lagos and other parts of the country or other parts of the world. Spyro, for instance, started off in Oyo State. He went to University of Ibadan. That's the most recent exports, Oyo State exports. We've had these two guys, Atewo and what's their name? I can't remember. We've had a lot of people come out of Oyo State, but currently comedy is thriving. Right, comedy skits making is thriving. We have Kiki, Wole Agba, Ndele, and some other people. But I mean, we're hoping that things will change and music will come up and they'll be able to sell their now that we even have a digital media, so you can do very well, sell your materials online and still be residents of Ibadan. Of course, the big award shows, the big events that pay so much are in Lagos, but there's no reason why you can't be a resident here and
receive them awards as well.
Yes.
Okay, but you just mentioned be resident in Oyo State and still sell your market, because social media brings everybody closer. The proximity becomes easier to reach. But then the environment, do you think the environment is more welcoming or favorable for people who are doing comedy? Or should I say the residents of Oyo State are more receptive of comedy? Or do you think that is, and why that kind of also affects why people who are doing music do not get the same energy?
Well, okay, let's put it this way. Let's lump comedy up with skit making for the purpose of this conversation. One of the biggest skit makers in the market now is Kiki and Wole Agba. Right from Oyo State. Wole Agba practically spends a lot of time in Oyo State. But if you don't know that he lives in Ibadan, in fact, you don't even care. You will not care to know where he lives. You just want to see his material and you enjoy it. That's one aspect. That's what technology has done for these guys. But when it comes to appreciation of the materials for actual comedy, for instance, we have a lot of comedy shows in your states. We've had a lot of comedy shows in the past. We still have a couple come up. But you see, the truth is, the market, the larger part of the market is in Lagos. But the largest part of the market is digital. Do you understand?
Yeah,
so they don't even need to sell. Even musicians that need to sell records. When was the last time you bought a CD of your favorite artist? Do you understand? So just there's an environment, there's an ecosystem that allows you grow, then you can export your material. In Oyo State, we have about 40 radio stations in Oyo State currently. It's unbelievable. And what I've noticed is a lot of these radio stations are friendly to upcoming acts. They're actually quite friendly. They would encourage or push your materials. But it gets to a point where the artists need to deliberately evolve. So we can also create that ecosystem in Oyo State. We have about 7 million people in Oyo State. How is it so different from Lagos, apart from the fact that there's a lot of money in Lagos, But it's not impossible to be in Ibadan and thrive.
Okay. That question came as a follow-up of, what you said earlier. But let's move on to still on the entertainment in an environment around here. When you talk about Lagos, one of the reasons it's like everybody wants to go to Lagos is because I can say Lagos almost never sleeps. Do you understand? The nightlife in Lagos sleeps. The nightlife in Lagos is 24/7, top notch, is always active. How would you describe the nightlife in Ibadan? I see lots of lounges cropping up, amazing hotels, by the way, that you have in this city, and then bars and all these right by the corner places. You can just go and enjoy yourself, and these places come to life from 6 p.m. down to the evening. You understand? So how would you relate it to the entertainment industry and how it's been thriving, and how would you describe the nightlife? How has it grown over time?
Okay, so the nightlife in Ibadan, let me be specific with Ibadan, because Ibadan is a capital, right? Is not bad, considering that Ibadan is a conservative city. When you go through the strip of Ring Road to Challenge, there are clubs and lounges all across the road. The same thing around Bodija, and there are some other areas, just like you described, there are some other densely populated middle class areas that have lounges that run, so for the kind of fun and entertainment that they desire, you get it. It is available and it is thriving. Trust me, the nightlife is not bad. There was a time that it was a bit quiet, but if you look at the history of Ibadan, they've always had a buzzing nightlife. It only went quiet for a little while, but it's picked up again in the last 3-4 years. Really massively.
Okay, now let's look at government involvement in the entertainment sector, especially Governor Seyi Makinde's administration.
Okay, let's
look at.
Okay, so let me just take us back a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, just before the election, entertainment practitioners, we had a meeting with the people contesting for governor in Oyo State, and when we got to the secretariat, the Governor Seyi Makinde was on his campaign trail, so we had to meet the SSG, and we told her, we said, you know what? Your government has not done anything to support entertainment, to support the creative industry in Oyo State. And she admitted it, that is true, that they took their time to make sure that a lot of things were in place. And what she said was that they promised that part of their Omitutu 2.0 will be to support the creative industry. And you can't fault anybody for admitting their faults.
Yeah.
The other contestants said they will support, but now that Governor Seyi Makinde has, is going to be here for another 4 years, well, we hope that they support the creative industry And they consult from time to time the practitioners, because it's not like you want to throw money around at people. There's so many creative ways you can support the creative industry, So we're hoping. So the last 4 years they haven't. We're hoping that in the subsequent 4 years they will support the industry. It's been private sector driven, to be honest, 100%.
Which I think is every other city in Nigeria can relate with that. Especially when it comes to entertainment. Everybody on an individual level, networking with every other individual doing the same thing in entertainment has been able to drive entertainment industry generally in Nigeria, and especially in the music industry, brought it to where it is right now.
But you said especially in the music industry, governments need to create an enabling environment.
Well, that was also
to make it better.
That was supporting your point of how that individuals mostly are doing stuff. But then again, let's move on in this conversation. We're in the beautiful city of Ibadan, Oyo State, doing amazing in entertainment. But do you see Oyo State, Ibadan, pairing up with Lagos? And what do you think, if that is possible in your light, what are the things that you think that, like you've just mentioned that Governor Seyi Makinde's administration has promised to support, what are the things you would expect that they would put in place that would make that dream possible?
I'm a very realistic person. Lagos is the commercial capital of Nigeria. Oyo State can never catch up with Lagos.
Wow, that was very
it's a fact.
Oh, wow.
No, it's the same way. You don't expect Newcastle to catch up with London, or you don't expect some small city in Japan to catch up with Tokyo, or some states. Or you don't expect Atlanta to catch up with New York, in the US. It's a fact. There's a lot of activity, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of commerce in the capital city. But within the southwest, excluding Lagos, the other states, Oyo State has dominated, will keep dominating, and can and will do better. Because we have the population, we have the middle class that would also patronize. We have the huge youth population as well, not just the population, and we have a lot of talented individuals. And when we say creative industry, or entertainment, we're not just talking about music, we're talking about the entire suite of creativity, So from the government side, create a little enabling environment for people who don't have certain resources to thrive. So you're not giving them the talent, they already have the talent. But imagine if you have a media city where tech people can do whatever they want to do. You have a bunch of studios where guys like yourself can come and do your recording. You don't have to look for the perfect studio. Then a lot of companies like yours would come to Ibadan to record whatever they need to record, because creativity is not location specific. But if you get what you need in a particular location, you would go for it right there and then. There's a reason why they shoot a lot of movies in Hollywood, or they created whatever is called Hollywood. Do you understand? And it's in California. So we can create that and export that. And culture and tourism is also, we also have a lot of cultural, festivals and tourist attractions that we've not even scratch the surface in selling them to the world. So by the time we do, we're all over the place. But to catch up with Lagos,
Okay. All right. I wish we can continue having this conversation. It's been very amazing. But then before we go, I'd like to also ask, you just mentioned some festivals that you have. Can you give us like a rundown of these festivals that you think can be explored, to give a better facelift?
Okay. They're cultural festivals, there are also some social services. You guys talk about Amala, so we can even create a festival around Amala. There was an attempt at that. There's Egungun Festival. There's the twins. Adoawaye. What's it called? Somewhere in Ibarakba is like the hub of the twins.
Yes.
Then there's the Adoawaye. There's the suspended lake. That's more of a tourist site actually. There are several festivals. That would excite people. Some are cultural, some you create. that Amala place that you people talk about in Lagos was created. It's artificial, you know. It's just make believe. It's not like, you know. So, but we have a lot of that, you know, that we can export.
I think he has actually stressed my point when we started the show. It's just make believe.
Okay, no problem. You win. All right, thank you so much, Sarah, for coming on the show this morning. Thank you for opening our eyes to the entertainment industry in Oyo State. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I cannot wait to get out of the studio and go and get that Amala.
Of course.
Because today we were streaming live from the ancient city of Ibadan. Thank you so much for being a part of it. More entertaining and informative content will be coming your way here on iBrandTV. Do not go anywhere. My name is Uche Zoe.
And now I'm Deborah Eze.
Have a great day.
Bye.